good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another empowering episode of Pep Talks with Megan De La Concha. It's a me, a Megan. Like, it's a me, Mario. But it's really not. It's Megan. Here, present and accounted for. Welcome, everybody. And I hope that this new year has started off with just some amazing new resolutions, new goals, new mindsets, just a breath of fresh air. Because as I like to call it, this is a renew year. And my coach, I just want to start off by saying, my coach, my business coach, and my mentor, Patrice Washington, if you don't know who that is, you are missing out big time. But she posed a question as far as what is the word of the year for her. And for her, it was contentment. And it really got me thinking. And the word that's been swirling around my meditations, my anything I listen to on YouTube, the sermons, the pep talks, not my own pep talks. I call them all pep talks, like TED Talks and just transformational videos. Everything has been around the word favor. And I can't help but just fully embrace that word right now. 2021 is a year of favor for me in so many ways. And it really got me thinking about how I never really took the time to find favor, right? We read about it in the Bible that we are in God's favor. Hey, can you do me a favor? A good deed, a good act, right? You're in good favor, you're in good company, you're being honored, you're precious, all of these amazing things. And because 2020 was such an insane year, it had tons of lows and just as much highs. Personally, for me, and I know it's been that way for a lot of people too. But I also am very sensitive about that discussion, of that conversation, because as much as I definitely preach that we need to celebrate ourselves and celebrate the small wins, I realize there are so many people, are not just in our nation, but around the world, that have just had 365 days of suffering and don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know that we've buried loved ones, we've lost jobs, we've lost incomes, we've lost our homes. Families are homeless out on the street, not knowing how they're going to feed their kids, how they're going to feed themselves. The lack of trust in our government, in our politicians, the absolute disgusting act that we saw on January 6th of the Capitol being breached. I'm very nauseated by that. It's just disgusting is what it is that's the only word that I can think of right now without going very much into it. We'll save that for another day. But, this whole country has been hurt. Communities, especially the Black and Latina communities and families, just the distrust and the dismantling of the government, and in a good way, all of these things have brought to light so many things that we need to change. Even it's brought to light things within my own community, within my own self, that I need to change, or I need to have my eyes open to, and that's all for the greater good in the end, and that's years and years to come. But we've all been suffering so much, and it's so hard to talk about favor, I know, for a lot of people, but we have to, because it's one of the ways to keep our spirits alive. And our spirit is alive. It's alive and it's well. It might be burning like a little ember right now, but it will be burning as a raging fire soon. And I want to go into this episode because it's a new year. And so many people have new goals and new resolutions. And I know it's like, I know y'all are so sick probably of hearing about resolutions and goals. And I know a lot of our mindsets is like, what's the point? What's the point of having new goals and new resolutions? What can I do? We're still in the middle of a pandemic. We're still in the middle of, economical suffering and financial suffering and struggling. We can't do anything. We're still pretty much on lockdown. What is there, what is there to feel happy about? What type of goal can I set? I know, because I'm there in certain places in my life. You know, um, there are struggles in my life right now. I'm really in the thick of it in a few areas of my life. And it's hard to say or find what the favor is in that. Um, and I talk so much about how you can't just have goals and you can't just have resolutions and blindly go into these things. It takes real work, people, and real change. And it's going to get very uncomfortable for all of us. I don't know how many times I've said that. I know I say it in social media. I've probably said this before on the podcast, but growing pains is called growing pains for a reason. And what a lot of people don't understand is that they say they want these goals and you say you want these resolutions and but you don't really know the capacity of it. You don't really know what it takes to actually attain these goals that you want. Are they attainable? 100%. Is it easy? No. Is it hard? Yes. Is it uncomfortable? Yeah. Because you have to understand, you're setting a year's worth of goals, but these goals and habits and resolutions, I'm sorry, these goals and resolutions are changes that we're wanting to make from things that we've been doing for years. For years, we've been living in this natural habitat of complacency and of settling and of fear and frustration and constantly chasing the wrong things and being unfulfilled and living in lack. We've lived in that habitat for so long. It's our natural habitat. It's what we're comfortable with. It is what is familiar to us. So when you even start with a thought, the thought seems really motivating and yeah, I would really like to have that. I really would like to reach my fitness goals. I really would like to have a new career. I really would like to go back to school. I really would like to have X amount of dollars in the bank and pay off my debt and buy my first home. But do you know the work? Do you really know the work that goes behind that? And I am not here to discourage you by any means. I am here to educate, right? I am here to empower you with the knowledge that you need so that you can attain these goals. Because let me tell you something, it all starts within. Take a fitness, a fitness goal, for example, one that we can all relate to. So you set a goal of either losing X amount of weight within a certain amount of time, or just toning up, or maybe you're training for a competition, you're training for a triathlon, you want to do your first 5K. That's all amazing and wonderful and great. And we set these goals because we want to feel better about ourselves. We want to accomplish something, right? We want to be healthier so that we feel better. Okay, wonderful. So you'll go out and you'll spend money on workout clothes. You'll go spend money on a gym membership if available. You'll go spend money on a Peloton bike with a Peloton app and a membership. You'll go spend money on weights. You'll go spend money on yoga mats, on DVDs. You'll spend money on a personal trainer. You will spend money on downloadable ebooks of, recipes and grocery lists and intermittent fasting stuff, or go vegan. You'll spend money on all those things that are geared towards your goal, right? Okay, so these are all tools. Yay. They're all external tools. If you don't love yourself in the way that you need to love yourself, you are never going to sustain your goal. You are never going to make it past probably 30 days. And if you do attain some sort of, of weight loss, or, whatever your goal may be, your fitness goal may be, if you do start to see some difference, how likely are you to sustain that? Because if you're thinking that you're going to lose weight to be more confident, you got it all wrong, sister, brother. You've got it all wrong. being a certain way. And that's oh, I get so passionate about this because I was in this space. That's why. This is not any judgment towards you. This is just real hard truth because I was in this space. So let me just speak from my heart. Let me just do that. So you guys know I'm speaking from a personal place. I put all my time and energy in what I was eating and working out, that I was the skinniest and I was the most like toned I had ever been, thinking it would make me more acceptable to the person that I was in the relationship with, to other people. Oh my God, she's had a baby. Look how good she looks. It did not. It did not do any of that. And I did not love myself anymore. In fact, I loved myself a lot less because every day I was doing something that I absolutely dreaded doing. And then when I was reaching goals and I was looking better, I was looking to everybody else to validate me and to give me compliments and to, like, oh my God, wow, how did you do that? And nobody did, not even the person I was in the relationship. And as a matter of fact, I was put down because of it. I was put down as if, oh, I was getting in shape for somebody else. I was sneaking around. I was this, I was cheating. I felt worse about myself. So what did I do? I worked out harder. I ate less. I was down to 100 pounds. No grown woman should be 100 pounds. I am very sorry. Unless, let me side note that, unless you do have a medical condition, obviously, that goes without saying. But I'm saying to strive to be that, you should, that is not something to strive for. That is unhealthy, even for my height. And I'm only 5'4". So you can imagine. Um, I chased after all of the wrong things, thinking I got a different job. I pursued my education. I, started wanting to make more money. I got my own place. I got all new furniture. What else? Anything else that I can think of? It was thinking that it was all going to make me self confident if I just lived in a certain place. Okay, I lived in a beautiful condo. I had brand new furniture. If I just had this outfit to wear tonight, boom, I got it. I spent money that I shouldn't be spending. If I just had if my house smelled good, so I went and spent tons of money on candles. If I just looked a certain way, if I just drove a certain car, I was chasing all of the wrong things. If I just paid off this debt, I'd be happier. So we're looking for more confidence. We're looking to be happier. We're looking to be more fulfilled. We're looking to feel better about ourselves, but we're looking in all the wrong places. So we want to make these changes. But what happens when we actually start to make the change, when we actually start to break old habits? We become uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good because it's not used to what we're not used to, that feeling. It's not what we're used to feeling. Our body is used to being in this perpetual state of stress. I believe that the number is 70% of people live or live in a constant state of stress. And so we're always reacting. Stress equals survival. So we're always in a survival state. In a survival state is anger, frustration, anxiety, worry, depression. And what happens is we actually crave these states of feeling or these states of emotion. We crave that because it's what's familiar to us. Anytime we start to make some type of change and it starts to feel good and it's not what we're used to feeling, we're going to constantly run back to the familiar because it's the habitat that we've lived in for so long. So what we do is we try to create situations around us so that we feel anxious, we feel worried, we feel frustrated, we feel angry. It does happen. It does. I did the same thing. I suffered with anxiety and depression for a very, very long time, even long before I even knew what it was. And it completely dismantled my whole entire life. It dismantled relationships, friendships, my own self-worth, my own self-image, my self-esteem, everything about me. It completely dismantled. Like my days, I would wake up in anxiety and I would go to sleep in anxiety and then I would wake up in anxiety again. So I went to therapy. I did get on medication I finally was able to get off of the medication because of the hard work and consistent work that I was doing on myself. But I will tell you, in the early days, I remember so vividly sitting at my desk at work, and it, boom, all of a sudden, a thought in my head of, oh my gosh, I'm not anxious. And I haven't been anxious for a couple of days. So because I became aware of what I wasn't, I became aware. I thought, oh my gosh, this is really weird. Why am I not anxious? Instead of being like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm not anxious. What a blessing. I'm really growing. This stuff is working. I'm proud of myself. Let's work harder. Let's do this. This is, oh my, like this is actual living proof that this stuff works. Meditation, yoga, self-growth, self-love, all of that stuff. Instead of having that attitude, it was, I like freaked out. So what did I do? I created something in my head to be anxious about. Because even though the anxiety that I experienced was so physically painful, it was familiar. And when I wasn't feeling that, it was uncomfortable. So with one thought, created an entire environment around me that supported my anxiousness because it was a familiar place for me. I could predict it. I could control it. I was used to it. I could name it. I could be in an anxious state and know what it was. Like, isn't that crazy how that happens? How we will Google something to make us anxious. We will think of, when I kissed my boyfriend or my husband goodbye today, he didn't say, I love you. And he always says, I love you. Something is wrong. We'll dwell on that. We will create our environment, our present environment, because we want to go back to the familiar. But those are the things that we have to break, because that is going to keep us and has kept us in this consistent cycle of pain and anger and frustration and lack. Right? So, but when you become aware of how you're feeling, when you become aware that you're being drawn back into your familiar space, and then you say to yourself, no, let's bring us back to the present. Let's bring the mind back to the present. Bring your mind back to your breath. I know for a lot of people, it's like, oh, breathing. Wow. Oh, the mind. Oh, yeah, the power of the mind, the power I am, blah, blah, blah. It is real, people. It is real. And over the next couple episodes, I'm actually going to be talking, because I really want to go deeper in these conversations. And I don't want it to be just surface level, like, oh, you just have to think happy thoughts. No, I want to bring the science behind it, the evidence-based research of how this is true and how powerful it really is. So expect that over the next few episodes. But when you are able to bring yourself back to the present moment and focus on your breath and start to focus on all of the amazing things that are happening that day or that hour, then what you're doing is you're letting your body know that, hey, we're not going to go back to that familiar state. I'm in control now. Before, the body was in control, right? So when we're anxious, what are the physical signs? You have shortness of breath, you have shallow breathing, you have, maybe your palms start to sweat, maybe your underarms start to sweat, you have tunnel, like you can only like focus on one thing, you get very irritated or frustrated, your heart starts racing. All of these physical manifestations of anxiety are happening. Then what happened is your body, your physical being, is telling your mind, I'm anxious. So your mind is like, oh yeah, you are anxious. Look at you. Oh my God, you're an anxious mess. Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with this. All right. Because they're connected. But at that point, your body is in control of your mind. It is telling you what to think. And then your mind in return feeds back to the body, like, you're feeling this way, I'm going to think this way, because we're partners. But when you tell yourself, when you bring yourself back to the present moment, when you bring yourself back to the why you're going for these goals, why you're doing this new habit, Your body's like, why are you eating an apple when it's noon? We should be eating french fries and feeling horrible and greasy and disgusting and then want to take a nap so that we don't work out. Like, that's been our routine for so freaking long. Why are you changing it now? And why didn't you tell me? I thought we were in this together. So when you tell your body we're eating an apple so that we're energized to go do our workout, or we're reducing our calories, or we're just introducing more nutritious foods to our body, to ourselves, to you body. So we're not going to go back to that familiar state. We're going to embrace this change. It's a little weird. I kind of have a craving for french fries now that you mention it, but I don't want to feel lazy. I don't want to feel sluggish. I don't want to have a foggy memory. I want to have the energy so that I can go meet my partner and work out, or go meet the personal trainer that I hired and have a killer workout and not be suffering through it. I want to make good decisions. I want to make better decisions. I want to make decisions that actually get me to where I want to go. That's why we're eating an apple in this present moment. Then your body's going to go, okay, cool. Yeah, I can rock with that. Absolutely. Or when you bring your mind or your body back to the present moment and you're like, I'm not worrying about that bill right now. That bill isn't due for 2 more days. I am very guilty of this. I will worry about a bill that's due next week. And where am I going to get the money? Who can I borrow from? What can I not pay? What do I have in my savings? What money is coming? When do I get paid? Can I postpone it a little bit more? Right? But when I bring myself back to say, okay, hi, I'm driving. Today is today. Tomorrow is tomorrow. So let's rejoice in the present. I have everything I need today. I got the food. I got clothes to wear. My bills are paid today, right? When you bring yourself back to that state, then you're telling your body, nope, we're not going to be anxious. We're not going to go back into that familiar state. We're going to stay right here and we're going to celebrate and we're going to enjoy it. And your body's going to go, okay, cool. Yeah, I can get down with that. But what happens is when you don't have the awareness, you constantly go back to the familiar. And then that's when it's like an all or nothing mindset. And it's like, well, forget it. I'm eating french fries. I'm going to feel crappy. I'm going to take a nap. And then you do that. And then you're like, well, forget it. I'll just start Monday. I just need a few more days to rest. I just need some more workout clothes. We will make all the excuses up in the world. We give up. Just like that, because it's familiar. But then we want to turn around and wonder why we're never accomplishing our goals, why we're always broke, why we're always in crappy relationships. You might be in a new relationship, but you're dating the same man, right? You might be in a new career, a new job, a new building, but you're doing the same job. You're working the same hours that you swore you didn't want to work. You're making the same pay. We're chasing the wrong things. We chase the wrong things, and then we go back out of fear. We fall back into what's familiar because what we're doing, how we're breaking old habits, is uncomfortable for us. So don't let your body be in charge. Let your mind be in charge. Take back your power. Have the awareness to know that when you're starting to get sucked back into the familiar, that you are not going to reach your goals. This is why they say your why has to be bigger than your excuses, because excuses are so easy to make up. Excuses are so easy to come by. They're always there. There's always tons of them, and they work, right? And they work. It's a get out of jail free card. So it's so tempting to use that so that we stay in our smallness, so that we stay in our familiar habitat. So if y'all are out there and you've got these big, ambitious goals, that's amazing. Great. Let's do it. Let's make yearly goals, and then let's break them down into bite-sized pieces that we can actually chew up and swallow, that we can actually accomplish. But the goals are not enough. We've got to look at the habits, the old habits. We got to bring in the new habits. We got to break everything back down. And then we have to set boundaries to protect all of those things. And all of this is new. And it takes change. It requires change. It requires different actions. It requires different thoughts. It requires different feelings. And in order to facilitate that, it doesn't happen overnight. So, in order to build upon that, in order to create that change, it's gonna get uncomfortable. But once your mind is now back in control and you are one, aware that you're being drawn back into the familiar because of what? Because of fear. And when you stop that, when you choose to make a change, the minute you choose to make a change is when freedom comes in and empowerment comes in and control comes back in and peace and love and joy and all of those things that you're striving to feel comes back in. The minute you make the choice to say, I'm not doing that, I'm not bringing that crap into 2021. I am shedding the old cloak, which God tells us to do. I believe it's in Ephesians, to get rid of the old cloak, get rid of the old clothes, and come into something new. And the only way you can do that is to really shed all of these old habits, all of these old thoughts, which is kind of hard to do. But once you have the awareness that you're being pulled back into an old habit, that you're being pulled back into an older way of thinking or a past way of thinking or a past response, such as I'm anxious because I don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. I'm worried because I don't know where my food or my rent's going to come from. I'm worried about, can I afford this? Am I going to have a job? My partner's sick. I'm sick. I lost my insurance. I'm worried. When you're being sucked back into that, when you stop it and say, yep, nope, that's an old habit, that's an old thought, so I'm going to do the complete opposite. If you are establishing new habits and you don't know how to do that, like when you're like, well, I know I have this pattern in my life. Okay, so for instance, again, I'll use myself as a prime example. So we'll use money because I'm talking so much about money because money was the weakest story in my life, and I lived in such a mindset of lack and scarcity for my entire life that I've just recently, and I mean recently within the past year, 2020, past last year, realized that was my default mindset, and that's what kept me in such a state of being broke all the time or always living paycheck to paycheck. I never knew that. Right? But I was always wondering, what am I doing wrong? I changed jobs, made about the same money. I thought I was going to climb the ladder, didn't really. So anyway, besides all that, let's take money for example. Again, I know I said before, today is Wednesday and I have a bill due next Monday and I'm already worried about it and I will lose sleep over it. I will not eat over it. I will not do my yoga over it. I won't meditate over it because I can't concentrate. I have no energy. Anxiety takes out the energy, all of that stuff. So if I'm like, okay, well, I know I want to stop being anxious about that kind of stuff. So how do I do that? If you're stuck with the how do I change that old habit? Just do the complete opposite. Literally. When I don't know how to change a habit, I just do the opposite. Okay. Tap, tap, tap. Is the mic on? Yeah, I'm here to declare I'm not going to be anxious about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to continue to eat. I'm going to focus on today. I'm going to bring myself back into the present moment. I'm going to celebrate what I have today. I'm not going to waste today's strengths on tomorrow's worries. Today has enough worries in it, if so be it. Right? So that's exactly how you change your habits, is you just do the complete opposite. And as soon as you do that, freedom will ring. You will be released. You just have to do it over and over and over and over and over again, and you will get better at it. What you practice progresses. Where you put your energy and your focus on, that's what's going to flow. So it will change for you. But we cannot get stuck in the familiar. We have to start with the awareness that when we feel it, because you will feel it, when you feel yourself going back to the familiar, stop yourself, make the complete opposite decision of what you're thinking, what you're doing, what your actions are, what your emotions are, and move forward in that. Bring yourself to today. Let your mind be in control of your body, not your body in control of your mind, and continue to change those habits one by one. Right? So that's how you kind of get a small grip on how to change your habits and how to change your way of thinking. You stop that thought, you become aware, you stop that thought, that familiar thought, that familiar feeling. Oh, I know this is going to make me mad. Okay, well, don't be mad about it. Don't be mad about it. That's all it takes. Just don't be mad about it. Right? Do the complete opposite. So be aware, stop the thought, stop the familiar, and stay in the present. And I'm telling you, when you start to make those little changes, the big changes, the debt-free year that you want, the increasing your revenue that you want, the getting healthier, the losing of the weight or the toning up or attaining that goal of running a 5K or switching your career, going back to school, of just loving yourself. Maybe this is just the year of you, which every year should be the year of you, because when the compass is turned inward, everything around you matches who you are. So if you're one amazing human being, everything around you that you attract into your life, not things that might be out a part of your life, but things that are actually in that you allow in your life are going to be just as amazing, right? So everything should be internal. Everything should be about you. But in order to create the changes that we say that we want year after year after year after year takes real change. And this is the type of change. You wonder why I always set the same goal to lose this much weight, and I'm really motivated at the beginning of the year in February, but by March, I'm done. And then by summer, I'm crying in the dressing room because I can't go out on the beach with a bikini on. And then you think to yourself, well, if I just would have stayed with that program, I would have been so ripped by now. Why can't I do that? I can never finish anything. I'm a failure. Or you're always broke, right? I just can't seem to save money. I don't know how to invest money. Or you're always in the same dang relationship where, he's just like so-and-so. He does the same thing. He might do some things different, but he does the same things the same. And those are the things that matter. And then you stick it out again because of excuses, because it's familiar. We say we want to date or marry a man that has this, that's everything that we deserve. But when you find a man like, girls like, I don't like nice guys. I like bad boys. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're just so damn insecure that you don't even know how to handle a nice guy. You don't even know how to even have a relationship with a gentleman, with someone who you probably do deserve once you do the work on yourself. So cut the crap, miss me with the bullshit. Sorry for the language, but I'm for real. These are all excuses. Your whys have to be bigger than your excuses. And if you don't know how to get to your why, you need to work on yourself. The right man is not going to come along and make you a confident, empowered woman. You'll never even attract that man, to be completely honest. The right job is never going to come along to make you feel more confident or empowered. No amount of money is going to make you feel confident, empowered. You can get paid. You can increase your revenue double time. You can make 6 figures and you'll lose 6 figures in the same amount of time. You'll never see it because you're in the same cycle. You're in the familiar. When it starts to get uncomfortable, you want to run back. You need to stop doing that. It's not uncomfortable forever, because guess what happens? When you start breaking these habits, breaking the law, I don't know why that just came out. Breaking the law, breaking the habits, yeah. When you start acting in that way, when you start becoming aware, that's the key. Because when you are aware of something and you accept it, now you have a choice. You have a choice to stay in your smallness, or you have a choice to grow and learn from it and say, yep, this is going to be uncomfortable for a little bit. But when you get in the routine of making these different decisions, of being aware and doing the opposite of what you think and what you feel, and making those little changes in your life and staying away from the familiar, you're creating a new familiar. And your body and your mind are both going to match that. So when you are a boss babe, when you are the CEO of your company, when you are making tons of money, your familiar feeling is not to be afraid of it. When you invest in yourself, when you make huge purchases, when you make huge changes in your company, when you grow your company, when you scale your company, when you scale your joy, when you are buying a huge house, when you're actually manifesting the life that you want, when you're saying yes to, go speak over in Dubai or go do work internationally, when you're making those high level decisions, that's your familiar. You're not going to be like, no, I can't. No, because I just need more money. I just need to lose more weight. That is so basic level crap. But see how those two don't even work together? So you create a new familiar for yourself. So it's never drawing back in fear. It's always going forward in faith. But it's these little tiny things that are going to get us there. Setting goals and setting resolutions are amazing, but what is your action plan to get there? Your real action plan. Like deep down nitty gritty. What is it? If you need help figuring this kind of stuff out, if you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you are ready to get uncomfortable, and you're ready to be a big girl and put your big girl pants on and actually make a change in your life, I will support you in that. I will actually guide you in that. I have a one-to-one private coaching program that is open now. It's taking on new clients. I have a few in there now. But I've got room for one or two more. It is 4 months with me, yours truly, one-to-one for an hour every single week, plus full-time support, full-time messaging support, action plans. I give you worksheets. I am with you doing the nitty-gritty. We pull out the barriers, we pull out the traumas, and what has happened in your life that has created this limiting belief, that has created you to stay in your smallness. We pull that out. We discuss that. We go over what your life vision is. We rewrite your entire story so that you find power in your past and not pain. It's never too late or early to start. It does not matter what your age is. It does not matter one freaking bit. It does not matter. If you're ready to invest yourself on a big girl level, come talk to me. Come talk to me. Visit megandelaconcha.com. And you can book a discovery with me. It's a 30-minute, no obligation, to see if we're a good fit, to see if you're ready to be coached and if you're ready for me. Because after 4 months, you ain't going to be the same person, right? It's just not going to happen. I can guarantee you that. I will hold your hand and I will get you to where you want to go. I will support you, especially now. You want to crush all those goals come December 2021 and plus more that you built on top of the goals you currently have. Come talk to me. Come talk to me. We will do it together. We will create your life's vision. We will build confidence and resilience that nobody can shake. You will become unstoppable in who you are and who you want to be and in your life, right? We will build the foundation for you and we will just continue to build. I hope you guys have the most empowering week. There's going to be so many more conversations coming because this has been something that has just been on my heart and on my mind. And I apologize if things seem a little garbled or scrabbled. This is kind of just a brain dump, really. And then I'll get my stuff together and I'll reorganize. And you'll probably hear the same thing in the same conversations in the next coming weeks. But that's okay, because the word of my year, 2021, is favor. I will finish with favor because I'm not going back to the familiar. Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you next Monday.